Hey everybody, it's ImperialUrsa. Here back today. I just watched the new One Piece film last night, film Red. My friends and I went to the theater last night to watch the movie. But this was my first One Piece movie actually watching it subbed in theaters. The only other movie I had watched in theaters for One Piece was Gold. But back then I made the mistake of watching a dub, and I highly regretted it because I don't watch the dub. So that was fairly unfortunate. But I just wanted to get on here today and talk about kind of just what my thoughts and feelings were about the movie. It's going to be just a lot of rambling. I do not have anything concise or straightforward to say. And a warning to anybody who has not watched the movie, I will be talking about mostly anything that pops into my brain. So there will be a lot of spoilers, I'm sure. So spoiler alert, if you have not watched the movie, don't watch ahead. If you haven't watched the movie, just go watch the movie. It was really good. Some of the things I was afraid of going into this movie were really the addition of this character who's linked to one of the emperors, right? Who's linked to one of the most prominent characters in the show, Shanks, who has influenced Luffy since he was a kid, who pretty much was the driving force for this adventure that we're on, and introducing a character that was so heavily tied to him that we had never heard of, and that was simultaneously linked to Luffy, who's our main character, and we had never heard of that either. Fairly normal for Luffy not to talk about something deep and important in his life. Clearly, he never mentioned his brothers to anybody, and they were one of the biggest impacts he's ever had. They get away with that. So one of the fears was that just how they were going to implement this character, how that character was going to move forward from here on out, the relationship that Shanks and Luffy have, and the big deal that they've made so far in the story about keeping them separate, and how that's going to be affecting the story, and kind of the pledge that they have that they will not meet each other until Luffy gets to that point in his pirate career that he is renounced as a great pirate and that they can meet. And after he got proclaimed as the fifth emperor, right, Shanks is seen saying, we're going to meet soon, right? But he doesn't say we're going to meet right now. Now, once Luffy takes down Kaido and actually beats one of the four emperors, then he's on his level, right? That's kind of how it's being viewed. But this movie is clearly happening before that happens, and it revolves him and it revolves Shanks. And so very scared to see them meet, interact in a movie that's technically not canon, but still just to have them interacting and meeting each other when it's such a huge deal and like such a pivotal part to the story. I was really afraid of how much exactly they were going to do of them together. And then also, I was fairly wary of the fact that I could potentially be getting some spoilers from the manga, which I do not read ahead in the manga from the anime. I only read up to where I'm at in the anime and the manga. I've talked about that a little bit with my episode reactions, but I was also a little bit wary about that. Just what are they potentially going to show me? But overall, after seeing the movie, I thought that they handled it very well. I thought they handled all of it so well. The concept of the movie, of it being about a diva and her holding a concert, and I just thought they established that so quickly going into the movie. And they didn't beat around the bush, It wasn't like, oh, we're on a journey to get to the island where we're going to go see the concert. Oh, now we're going through the crowd to get there. It was very okay, we're already here. We're at the concert. The concert's happening. And then we get a whole introduction, which is just the main song, New Genesis, playing, and Uta full-on performing it, right? We get a whole performance. And I'm like, I thought that was so nicely done, how they set the stage literally for, we're in a concert. This is where we're at. Right? This is what's happening. So that was fantastic. And then the way that they handled the story from then on was also really nice, I thought, and refreshing from what we usually get in other One Piece movies. I had been thinking for some time that I was getting tired of the good old archetype of here's your big, strong dude, bad guy. You know, here's another big, strong dude that's even harder to beat than the last one. Now, my favorite One Piece movie is Z, is number 12. That movie means so much to me because of the entire story of Zeto and just how that gets kind of revealed throughout the story. Kind of the scenery, the world building that they do within the movie is fantastic, and I just feel like it's so reminiscent of One Piece as a story. The callback to him being a kid and wanting to be a hero and how that set him off and how that he got his name from that. All of that is just amazing. So I love that movie so much. And I also love that they don't go over the top with his final fight with him. It's very much a fist fight between men and to see whose like ideals win, you know? And so at the end he loses, but he loses with dignity, and then he goes out with a bang. It was fantastic. But since then, like Gold and Stampede, it was like, I enjoyed both of those movies too, don't get me wrong, but between just getting a bigger bad and the story straying further and further from canon, you know, at least the other ones you can make believe that they can fit within the timeline, but then the other movies, it's like there's literally no possible way that this could ever happen because of this, this, and this, right? But between that and just the bad guy, just being this huge, ginormous bad guy, like literally, like Gold, you know, what was his name? Tesoro. He full on becomes a huge gold statue man. And it's like, dang, okay. But then you're like, no, all right, we got it. We're going to beat him. And then we go to Stampede and the dude becomes this colossal, freaking, even bigger monster, right? And I feel like Stampede was just so far out there with, one, the spoiling of such a huge thing, how it connected to literally the final island, and like just saying, hey, there's a shortcut. I thought that was a little bit much. You know, the whole everybody's here, it was also kind of like, I don't know. But at that point, I was like, are they just going to continue giving us bad guys that are like this, big buff dudes who are just badass, and they're just going to keep going? And I thought at that time, like, how refreshing would it be for us to get like a female bad guy? You know, we don't have female antagonists that frequently, and it's about time the movies take part of that. So since I watched the filler episodes with Uta and when they were a kid, definitely the flashes that they were giving were very much Uta is not on the right side, and she will definitely be against us. And I love the way that it was presented to us through song. You know, she quickly just goes, no, Luffy, you're wrong. If you're not willing to give yourself up for my dreams and my ideals, then you gotta go. And then this beautiful song breaks out, which is just so good. It's probably one of my favorite songs that she performs in the entire movie. But then she just starts attacking them, you know, and becomes the antagonist that she is. And the visuals alongside it are amazing. The visuals they did for all of the songs were just fantastic. But I really like the change of pace in the villain and the antagonist of the story. So that was really nice. The way that the story just progresses from there, having the side characters play a part into the film was really good, I thought. There were a lot of funny moments too, you know, like pulling back, like, oh, we're just gonna add, like, there were so many moments that were so unnecessary to have, like all the chibi people. Like, there was no real reason to do that outside of this is just kind of entertaining and fun to watch, you know? So that was also really nice, I thought. The whole Beppo situation was hilarious. I could not stop laughing at it since he first entered the screen. And then the world government being involved, but not like so involved where they're like right there, but involved in a way where it's like, yeah, we still get to see how the corruption within the Navy and the world government is playing a part in people's lives, and it's influencing some of the decisions being made by other people in this specific situation, Uta. So I like that. I just thought they were taking a lot of parts of One Piece and what the story is to build upon this specific story. And the the way that they revealed Uta and Shanks' flashback was also beautiful. I love that they did barely any actual flashbacks to the stuff that we had already seen in the filler episodes. You know, they showed a tiny bit of it, but they didn't give us the whole episode again, which I was like, thank you, because I was a little afraid while I was watching that. But then that rest of the part that they were leaving like cliffhangers during those fillers, I'm glad they were doing it in such a way where it's like, oh, just a little bit here and oh, a little bit there, and oh, now you get another reveal. Oh, and now it's another reveal. You know, like it was just like one reveal after next about the backstory, going from, oh, you know, we went to this music island and he left her there to be a singer, right? But they kind of hint at the fact that all these people disappeared out of nowhere. And then they do another flashback where we find out that like she's heartbroken from it. And then we do another one where we find out that she was actually the one that did it, you know, and she's the cause of everything. And that literally all those people died. And then when we get the final one where we do another flashback where we see Shanks finally pick up that baby from the treasure chest. Now, if any of you saw my reaction to the first trailer where they revealed that Uta is Shanks' daughter, I was really, really hopeful that she was not going to be his biological daughter, because I thought that was just such a stretch, I don't know, it just felt so out of left field to have Shanks have a daughter. But I was really hoping that it would be one of those kind of found family situation, and thank goodness that it was. And it was so beautiful the way that they did that in the movie. Such a One Piece classic to be like, this is our daughter, you know? And I'm glad that the rest of the crew felt the same way. And it was kind of like a universal feeling. The dynamic between her and Luffy was also really nice. Very friendly throughout the whole thing, even when it was very antagonistic against each other. And the way that they set up the world, you know, going from this is the concert and then we're now in a world that's not real, you know, reality's being altered. We're all in the Mangekyu, you know, what's it called? The, you know, infinite dream of Naruto type of thing. You know, they introduced this whole thing and I was like, as soon as they introduced this alternate reality, I was like, it all makes sense. They actually did this really well. They're going to do it really well because of the fact that now we can have Shanks and Luffy coexisting in this story, playing a part into it without having to actually interact with each other in a physical, like, emotional way where it would ruin anything for what's to come in the actual main story. At least I thought. Those were my feelings on that. But yes, all of that was fantastic. The visuals, as I said, just they were killing it. They killed it on a lot of the fight scenes were very dynamic. Some of them a little bit hard to follow, but very dynamic, very pleasing with the way that they were showing it. The way her abilities would display out in this alternate reality was also just so nice. And the freaking music, video type, diva thing that they got going on, along with the backlight where they just show her silhouette, her little like Japanese, you know, diva dance moves that she was pulling out, like, it was just so good. And all the new soundtracks that they had in the background, I was living for it. I was like, I cannot wait to see them introduce some of these into the new episodes. And I even thought, I'm like, they might have already added some in, because I remember hearing a couple new ones, I think, in the last several episodes, and I was like, I don't think I've heard that before. It's like, potentially it came from this movie, because they always love putting movie OSTs into the episodes later on. So that was really exciting for me too. The outfits that they wore, so nice. I cannot tell you enough how much I appreciated the outfits that they were wearing. Specifically, Robin and Nami were looking so good. It's ridiculous. I could not get over how good Robin looked. And I really liked the outfit change. I was waiting for it the whole time. I was like, give me an outfit change. Give it to me. Come on. I knew they had it, but it's like it took so long, I felt like. I do wish they would have shown us like a full panel of them with their other outfits, you know, kind of giving us more time to like soak in what they looked like without them just moving around. But that was amazing. The, what else? Oh my gosh. But her outfits were also really nice. I really like the addition of the wings to her character and how those wings progressively got darker and became evil. And the way they animated her facial expressions as she was kind of losing her sanity, which I find so interesting because like sometimes when you are incapable of falling asleep and you just keep on being awake, you get to a point of being delirious and you start losing some of your normal senses. And I love that her like forcing herself to stay awake was continuing to like deepen that madness within her. And it was just so good. And the Toto Musica thing, creepy clown, I was like, this was kind of insane and crazy, but honestly, I was there for it. I was there for the whole thing. And I was so, unfortunately, I was so happy in like a story perspective that Uta did not make it and that she died and that she had to sacrifice herself. Because that's like similar to what I like about Zeto. You know, we have this great character that gets to have his finale within the movie in such a meaningful and impactful way. And it's like Uta's such a huge character in the grand scheme of like, she's this diva that everybody knows. And she's Shanks' daughter. And it just got revealed to everybody that she's Shanks' daughter. And it's like, these are two huge components to be like, she should be a part of the world always, right? But the fact that she dies means we get an ending to this and we don't have to wonder where she is and what she's doing in the current world. Even if we, you know logically that it's not canon, none of this happened, whatever. But you know what I mean. When you invest yourself in a story, you want to believe it for a little while, you know? So it's nice that I thought that they gave her a really good ending. You know, they had her come back. They had her kind of have that moment with Shanks, sing her final song, do what's right for people, have her final moment with Luffy, and then like the crew just defending her, calling her their daughter, taking her away. It was just so good. The only thing with the ending that I wish would have done is like that final look Luffy does to Shanks' ship, and he's like super serene. I just wish they would have acknowledged a little bit that he did understand that Uta did not make it. Because I felt like it was implied during that final scene between them. But then when he wakes up, he's like, where are they? And then he sees them. And then you can be like, okay, well, he knows that what he saw in that other reality is real and that she's dying. But I just wish that he would have like cried a little bit. Just like a little bit. Because like this is a girl that he knew in childhood. And Luffy's an emotional guy. He is not one to not get emotional about people he cares about. And he clearly cared about her to the end. He never wavered on that, you know, which is also very Luffy-like. But my man gets emotional about people. I just wanted one tear at the end. Just like one final look, tear, acknowledge it. All right, let's go. You know, that would have been really good. Yeah, some of the Marines, I mean, assholes, they do what they do. Fujitora specifically, I thought his character was probably the weirdest one to witness interact with the world. Like, he is very much like justice is this, justice is that, right? He has great morals as a person, but he understands that in his position he has to follow certain rules, and those rules mean something, and that clearly there's other things that matter most. But I don't think Fujitora would potentially allow for people to just start getting shot. You know, like Kizaru was just shooting the civilians that were in that dream. I don't think Fujitora would have allowed that. I think Fujitora is the kind of person that's like, no, we should look at another possible outcome. And also, he's already one to bet on the Straw Hats. Like, we have seen this. And if he sees that they have a plan, you know, that they're trying to come up with a solution, I feel like then he would potentially be like, okay. Because, like, you know, once the Tot Musica, like, showed up, they can see the thing, you know? He can do that, too. So, and now that we're on there, the other thing that was super questionable was the whole, we have observation hockey, so, like, we can connect with the reality in the other world and see through another person's eyes. That was kind of sus. Not gonna lie. I accept it. I let it be what it needed to be for the movie, and we can move on from it. But hell, weird when it got introduced. Moments that I really liked, I think Usopp getting to talk to his dad was amazing. I've been wanting an Usopp Yasop reunion for so long, and I know we're gonna get one when we finally deal with meeting the Red Hair Pirates. But getting that little glimpse of them just being like, oh my god, and then working together, so cool. Really, really like that. I don't think it ruined anything for me for the later story. I just purely enjoyed it. And it was really fun because in the theater, a lot of people, I was at the very top of my theater, but a lot of people in the bottom started clapping. They were excited. And I was like, yes, I'm also excited. Yeah, so the movie was just great. Okay, I loved it. As far as spoilers go, there were some spoilers that I had not yet seen in the show. One thing is they showed Robin doing an ability where like she was kind of like a big Buddha type thing, where like her body, like her head and body were like big. They didn't show it for long, which was good, but I know it's been shown in the opening too, so it's like I'm pretty sure that's how she's gonna defeat Black Maria in the current anime. But that was also interesting. I was just like, okay, they're showing it here, even though it hasn't happened yet in the anime. But I guess they're doing that a lot with the movie. They're just kind of going off the manga instead of the anime, even though in the story that arc hasn't finished yet. Like, you know, Luffy hasn't beaten any emperors, so it's whatever. I accept it. And then Shanks having that flashback when he thought about Uta as a baby and seeing Roger and Rayleigh. What does that mean? What does that mean? Have we got information in the manga that I just don't freaking know about? Was Shanks adopted by Roger and Rayleigh? Like, is that what they were insinuating with that? Or is he just like remembering being a young child and just looking at his father figures and being like, yeah, no, I relate a little bit to this. But the way they did it just felt so much like Roger found this baby and practically adopted it. And I'm like, if that's what that means, that's insane. That's insane. Because all this time, you know, ever since we've been sus of Shanks and wondering if, you know, he's freaking evil because of what happened during the Reverie arc, it's like, I thought, you know, okay, maybe his backstory is going to have a little bit more leading up to how he got to the Roger Pirates. Because, like, what if he's super sus, you know? On a side note, when Uta was like, you don't know Shanks, Luffy, he could be using you too. I was like, well, ain't that what, you know, most of the theories I've had about Shanks being sus are about. So that was nice. But I do think ultimately Shanks is a good person. You know, he has to be, I want to say. But yeah, if he actually got raised by Roger, that is insane. That is like a whole nother level. And also, when did Buggy come into the picture? I want to know that too. Because if Shanks was there from like a baby age or a toddler age, when did Buggy get introduced? You know, when did he get added on? Or did they come as a bundle? Because that would be insane too, if they were a bundle baby. Obviously, I don't know if all the manga readers know, please do not tell me. I will find out in due time. But if you guys don't know either, what the hell do you think is going on with that? Because that was insane. I feel like they can't just pull that out without it being already known canonly from somebody. And then obviously the final attack that they did, Luffy and Shanks, Luffy turned white. His hair was white. His like stuff was white. And I'm so glad they didn't glimpse too hard into it, because I'm like, bro, they have not shown me another form in the anime yet. So stop with the spoilers. But it was such small glimpses. And the one thing I wanted to point out, so I was talking a lot about this, but obviously the stuff related to Vegapunk and Judge, Sanji's dad, and how they used to work together and how they found that link. I forget what it's called right now, but the gene, practically like the beginning of the gene that allows them to do all the crazy scientific things that they do, and how Judge was able to create his mutant, you know, test tube babies, is like related to the same way that Vegapunk can like alter, the devil fruit, how it can like put it into objects or like make an artificial version of a devil fruit, like he found the lineage. What was it? Something lineage. Yes, something. And so it's like the kids, like neither Judge nor Sora have the twirly brows. So Sanji having the little spirals is very like the devil fruits, And when Luffy was going fourth gear, they were showing how his body was starting to like have some devil fruit type things with the little like spirals and the black. So the fact that like Sanji has those twirly brows, I was like, oh, maybe that's because he has that implemented into him as one of the test tube babies. And that's like connected to the way that devil fruits work, that it's like a lineage, like you're passing on this kind of gene. And so in Luffy, when they were showed the close up of his face, it was like this up. They showed that he had twirly brows, and I was like, that's like the Gomu Gomu, right? Like all the freaking devil fruits, they have the twirls. And so I was like, is this confirming that Germa's kids, like the freaking twirly brow in them, is also connected to that, and that it's right? That the further you awaken into it, maybe you get closer to the lineage of the fruit or the ability. So I don't know. I don't really know where to go with all that, but that's insane. And I really liked that. And I can't wait till they introduce that in the actual anime, because I don't know what it is. I don't know how it works, but I want to see it. And I'm so glad they just glimpsed at it, because if they had given me a full-blown body and explanation or like display of how that ability works, I would have been pissed. But they just glimpsed at it real quick, one real close-up, one real far away, called it good, and I was like, thank goodness. Leave it there. I mean, that's pretty much it. I think everything I thought overall was really nice. There weren't any parts where I was fully like, ugh, like I wish they'd just get on with this. I thought the way that they handled Uta and her character progression was nice. Her connection with Luffy was nice. Her connection with Shanks was nice. The story overall was really good. It wasn't without consequence in the way that it was happening. Like I said, the ending of it was also really good. The credits as well, I loved that they were showing a lot of the manga cover story panels alongside with just people listening to her music still and like her living on. But I'm glad they were showing a lot of things that they just don't show in the anime, because they don't animate the cover stories. So that was really nice. And then, oh my god, I didn't even talk about this, but Sunny being the little tiny lion thing, so cute. I need to get one so bad. I want to stuff Sunny or a figurine of Sunny. I need it in my life. I really do. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Honestly, let me know if you love the movie. If you had some issues with it too, I mean, go ahead and share. I just personally thought it was really good. I still think I like Z the most. I'll rewatch this movie probably several times, and then we'll see if it changes. Z just is very close place to my heart, but definitely this one is right next to it. Like, this is my other new favorite One Piece movie. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and being a part of this. If you went ahead and listened to all my rambling, but like I said, comment, let me know. And if you want to watch any of my One Piece reactions or other anime reactions, I'm currently watching Juju for the first time, and I'm watching Dragon Slayer soon, and I'm just getting caught up on My Hero Academia and Mob Psycho and watching Chainsaw Man. But One Piece I started reacting to right before episode 1000, and I've been watching and I've been reacting and recording every episode since then. So if you guys want to check that out, my Patreon link's going to be in the description. And then my One Piece video with the 6 million views that a lot of you liked, that one's available for free to watch on my Patreon. So if you just go to the link, you don't have to subscribe or anything. It should be available there for you to click on and watch. I know a lot of you were really disappointed when it got blocked. So if you just want to watch that AMV that I made of Luffy, go ahead and check that out. But anyways, thank you so much, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.